Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. I'm your host, PattSun, and today we're going to be taking a look at r/infidelity, where the life of a cheating wife took a drastic turn. Let's begin. My wife has been having an affair with her boss. Posted by Reddit user LS1C.
I discovered through texts that my wife of 15 years has been having an emotional and physical affair with her boss for the last 2 months that I know of. One night I just woke up with a sinking feeling in my gut. And even though I felt extremely guilty, I looked through my wife's phone and saw exactly what I thought I would see. They had been flirting heavily back and forth, sending each other pictures, and discussing meeting locations. I confronted her immediately and she confessed to having sex twice outside of work. Since then I have been an absolute disaster, but functional. She insists on remaining friends with her boss and not leaving her job, which seems absolutely absurd to me. This is her first career after many attempts and she is very good at it, and liked by everyone she works with. The boss is married with 2 kids and is not telling his wife. All of this screams that the conditions are ripe for it to happen again. I guess he has cheated multiple times and never told. I have slept very little since finding out last week. We both agree on most everything we have discussed since, but there seems to be no spark or fight in her to make it work, even though she says she wants to. I have taken her for granted for the past couple of years, and have been coasting in our relationship. So something was going to give. I still love her very much, but I cannot get over her still being in contact with this man. Today, despite the thought hurting, I asked her to leave today with a note I left on the nightstand when I left for work. The thought of being without her guts me, but we are both burned out physically and emotionally from talking so much, and I think time apart might help. Is it too early to throw in the towel? Will she show more fight or remorse with time? She blames herself 100% and admits to it being the worst thing she could have done. What are your thoughts? What are some tips for someone who wants to reconcile?
I have nothing to say to you, OP. She cheated on you multiple times and blatantly disrespects you every single day. What's worse is that you keep blaming yourself for her shitty behavior. Look, man, I want to feel sorry for you. I want to be empathetic towards you.
Unfortunately, it's overshadowed by all this unyielding rage!
Anyways, good luck raising her affair babies. And now for today's second story. My wife and I are likely headed towards divorce. We have 3 kids, and I'm afraid we cannot afford to live separately. Posted by Reddit user OKPush.
So, my wife and I have been together 11 years, married 7. We have 3 girls, 6, 3 and 1. We have a loveless marriage with 0 communication. My wife is a very walled-off and emotionally unavailable person. I have kind of always knew that, but having kids definitely shines a light on this. I've tried probably 100 times to get her to open up and talk to me. Any kind of emotional conversation boils down to me pouring my heart out and telling her how I'm feeling and getting responses like "I don't know," "I'm sorry," and a few other word responses. It is like pulling teeth.
Why are you still here?
We very rarely have sex, and when we do, it isn't very eventful. We try to do date night once a month, but my God, it is hard to spend fun time with someone who is just so emotionless. We are 50-50 parents, with me sharing most of the housework load. I try to make her life as a wife and a mother as easy as I possibly can, while simultaneously putting my happiness on the back burner.
That's stupid! You're stupid! Stop being stupid!
We are mostly amicable and we have our first marriage counseling session in a few weeks. However, my hopes are not high. I feel like she'd have to fundamentally change who she is for this all to reconcile, and I don't see that happening. Being open and passionate and emotional is just not who she is. I don't fault her, and I am not angry, just disappointed. I have full confidence that if we did end up divorcing, it would be amicable. She is always about the path of least resistance. The problem we have is affording all of this. Affording the divorce wouldn't be the issues. Living separately would be. My wife and I both live in the US. We each make around 70 Kelvin a year. We both have student loans, the mortgage, daycare, and all of the other normal bills. No crazy credit card debt. So how do people afford to live separately after a divorce? We would each need a 3-bedroom house or apartment. Sure, maybe we could find something cheap, but I don't want to move my kids into a dump. I am just at a loss. Not sure how to do all of this or where to go from here. Thanks, Reddit.
Gentlemen, I want you to listen to this comment exchange between OP and other Reddit users.
What you want and what you need sometimes are two different things. I have 2 kids and would have loved to have had them in their own rooms when we separated, but I could only find and afford a 2-bedroom condo. You will need to compromise hard on comforts initially. Don't look at it as a forever step, rather it's just the step you need right now to make things better. That makes me feel better, seeing it as an initial step. It totally is just the first step in a long journey. I went from a massive house with lots of land to a cramped condo a quarter the size. Now I have my own home on my own land and am living an amazing life. Was it uncomfortable for a solid year? Absolutely. But the work was worth it to be where I am now. Also, your kids will understand. Mine now refer to my old condo as my tiny house when bringing up memories when we were there. One step at a time. You've got this. Thank you so much. You are definitely helping ease my anxiety about the whole thing. I just want my kids to look back at their childhood with happiness, and for me to be happy, of course.
And now for today's final story. My wife has been having a string of sexual encounters behind my back, posted by Reddit user Lieutenant Devil Melon.
I'm writing this to vent and get out my thoughts. My wife and I have been happily married for 10 years. It was an amazing life. The last few years have been rough though. We failed 3 IVF cycles, got declined from adoption because she was a nurse dealing with a global pandemic and I was away with the armed forces. We both got COVID, got gazumped buying a house, and a hit to both our mental health. I know I haven't been the most supportive husband this last year. I've been dealing with real difficulties, and I thought my wife would be there for me. She tried and I love her for that. But I was struggling and I'm getting better and I'm working at it too. But this morning she admitted she's been meeting strangers for sex. My life again has been thrown into a blender. She has been an amazing person, but she's changed beyond recognition. She's been taking stronger and stronger antidepressants and drinking too much. And now this. My heart wants everything to go back to normal, turn back the clock, make the other choice this time. But I know my marriage is over. She told me what she did in detail, and it hurts. And I'm struggling. Edit. I would firstly like to say thank you to everyone for your kind words and advice. There is much food for thought. To address a couple of points. 1. We had a very active physical relationship. 2. I have already liaised with military charities, support networks, and lawyers in the UK. 3. I do not know why I didn't spot any signs. It doesn't make me weak or stupid, I just didn't see them. People are complex and try to hide their worst parts. 4. I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow and have encouraged her to get checked too. We've just had a long chat. I have told her I want to move on with my life without her. But before I make any decision, I want to give myself time to process. I've been talking with friends all day and now my social calendar is full of people wanting to support me. I'm grateful to those people as I am all of you. I'm not as harsh as some of you in these comments. I don't believe in acting in anger, even in the Navy, and believe in forgiveness. That's not to say I want her back or will take her back. But I'm a good guy, a Boy Scout, an Autobot. I know who I am and I will not give in to anger or hate, both of which I feel in abundance at this moment. I will probably post again when I'm calmer and clearer of mind. I have told her I want some space. May you all have a wonderful day and hug your loved ones extra tight today. Edit 2. This morning, once again I am overwhelmed by the number of wonderful people wanting to support and guide me along this particularly dark and difficult path. Each comment is an arm around the shoulders, a chin-up shipmate, and it feels genuinely heartwarming. I had a few buddies around last night for pizza and beers and football highlights, and it was a welcome distraction. The laughs might have been strained, and every so often there was a pain in my stomach when the perceived images of what my wife did with who popped into my head. But I'm going to work on those intrusive thoughts and stamp those demons out. I have a therapy session tonight. One thing I'm certain now, I cannot see my wife in the same way. She is not the person I married. She is in a very bad way. She's an alcoholic. She's suffering from serious mental health decline and she's self-destructing, allowing others to use her sexually. She now has a long journey to recovery. I hope she gets back to the happy, quirky nurse and painter I married one day. But I won't be walking the path with her. I'm going to spend the days until next week, surrounding myself with people I love and love me. I have a doctor's appointment shortly. I'm meeting a buddy who was cheated on for lunch and dog walks, and also a girlfriend for a glass of wine. Not too much though. Then next week on Monday the work begins. Change my bank details, start divorce paperwork, cancel joint accounts, etc. All the stuff you have suggested and more. Thanks again for the advice again. The rebuild begins, and I'm oddly excited and partially terrified. Finally, I am grateful for you all for allowing me to write my thoughts and reading them. I highly recommend anyone going through a similar situation to write their thoughts and feelings down rather than keeping them between your ears. May your God or none be good to you today. It's a new day after all.
And then, OP added more details down in the comments.
Why do you think she told you about the affairs? Was she trying to clear her conscience? Or maybe she is helping you end the relationship. You know you have to end it. Get to the gym. Eat healthy. You have got this. I caught her out. I'm in the military and was supposed to be on base yesterday night. I ended up playing football and came home for a shower and snack before meeting the team for post-game drinks. My wife wasn't home strangely, and a lot of her personal items and other even more personal items had gone. When I called her, she became very defensive and didn't come home all night. I was beside myself with worry and confronted her this morning. She'd planned to meet a stranger. Sorry, dude. Yeah, it's over. She is out disrespecting your relationship. Probably doing sex acts with other guys that you asked for. Instead of coming home, she doubled down. More important to be out getting some instead of coming home to you. Didn't think twice about it. Put your sexual health in jeopardy. Don't know if you have been intimate. Time to get her out.
Viewer support is the best way for me to remain independent and continue bringing you these daily videos, which will always be here on my channels for you to watch absolutely free. So please consider subscribing to me on Rumble and on YouTube. Both will be linked in the description box down below. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you even somewhat enjoyed today's story, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and if you really like it, consider subscribing to PattSun to never miss a future upload. Stay strong.